Have you ever watched someone you love become a complete stranger right before your eyes? I saw it in the cold, blue light of a phone screen at 2 in the morning. Her name was Sarah, my wife of 10 years, and she was meticulously erasing her life with me, one deleted text at a time. She thought she was wiping the slate clean, destroying years of secrets and lies. But as her thumb swiped across the glass, deleting photos, messages, entire conversations that had defined our marriage, she had no idea I was standing in the doorway, a silent ghost in our own home. She couldn't know that every single thing she was deleting was already safe, backed up on a tiny black hard drive tucked away in my office desk drawer. She was just clearing the stage for her own destruction. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The first crack in our perfect Chicago life wasn't a fight or a confession. It was the smell of expensive cologne that wasn't mine, clinging to her coat one Tuesday night. She'd been out with the girls, a phrase that was becoming more and more frequent. She breezed into our Lincoln Park brownstone, her cheeks flushed, eyes a little too bright. I was on the couch, waiting. Long night, I asked, keeping my voice level. God, you wouldn't believe it, Mark. Traffic was a nightmare on the I-90, she'd said, not quite meeting my eyes. The lie was so casual, so easy. That night I didn't sleep. I just laid there, replaying that scent, that flicker in her eyes. The humiliation was a physical thing, a hot stone in my gut. Our life, the one I'd built with my own 2 hands, felt like a sham. Her behavior grew stranger. She started guarding her phone like it was a state secret. It was always face down on the counter or clutched in her hand. Late-night texts became work emergencies. Credit card receipts from lavish dinners for 2 at Gibson. S-Bar and Steakhouse on Rush Street were explained away as client meetings. She was cold, distant, a master of manipulation. If I questioned her, she'd turn it on me. Why are you so insecure, Mark? Don't you trust me? The gaslighting was so effective it almost worked. I started to question my own sanity. Was I just being paranoid? Is this what a decade of marriage did to a man? The breaking point came on a rainy Thursday. She said she was visiting her sister in Evanston. I had a gut feeling, a gnawing certainty that twisted my insides. I called her sister. She hadn't heard from Sarah in weeks. That was it. The floor fell out from under me. Sat in my car, parked on a quiet side street, and just broke.
Eyes.
The tears were hot, angry, the kind that come from a place of deep, profound betrayal. The man who had promised to protect her, to love her, was gone. In his place was someone else, someone cold and methodical. The grief was still there, but it was crystallizing into something harder, sharper. It was crystallizing into a plan. That night, I started gathering proof. While she slept, I used a software to clone her phone's data. It was all there. It's thousands of texts, photos, hotel confirmations for the peninsula, right downtown. The affair partner was a smug real estate developer named David, a man we knew socially. His messages were arrogant. Hers were fawning. They mocked me in their texts. They called me predictable and boring. Every word was a nail in the coffin of the woman I thought I knew. I saved everything to a new, encrypted hard drive. I documented every lie, every expense, every secret meeting. I hired a private investigator who followed them, capturing photos of them kissing in a parking garage in the West Loop, holding hands as they walked into a dimly lit bar. The evidence was a mountain, an avalanche waiting to happen. I set the traps carefully. I moved our joint assets into accounts only I could control, citing a market downturn and the need for a more stable investment portfolio. She barely noticed, too absorbed in her double life. I met with the best divorce attorney in Chicago, a shark named Ms. Albright. I laid out the mountain of evidence on her polished mahogany table. Her eyes widened. "Mr. Henderson," she said, a slow smile spreading across her face. "This is what we call irrefutable." We planned the final act. The exposure happened at our annual charity gala, an event Sarah chaired. It was her night to shine. She stood at the podium in a glittering gown, addressing a room full of Chicago's elite aura friends, her clients, David's colleagues. She was untouchable. As she spoke about the importance of trust and integrity, my signal was given. A massive screen behind her, meant to display a slideshow of the charity's work, flickered to life. It wasn't a slideshow. It was a curated collection of her texts with David, the photos of them kissing, the hotel receipts. The room fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. I watched her face, the slow-motion horror, as her perfect world crumbled around her. Her smile froze, then collapsed. She turned, saw the images, and her color drained away. David, sitting at a front table, looked like he'd been shot. She was ruined. Socially, she was a pariah. Legally, thanks to the infidelity clause in our prenup and the mountain of evidence, she got nothing. Not a dime. David's wife left him, taking him for everything he was worth. The last time I saw Sarah, she was working as a hostess at a diner off the highway. The arrogant light in her eyes completely extinguished. She looked hollowed out, a ghost of the woman who had once commanded rooms. I didn't feel triumph or even satisfaction, just a vast, cold emptiness. I had one, but in the process, I had burned down our entire world, leaving nothing but ashes. I sometimes drive by that diner, a quiet observer in the dark, just to remember what happens when trust is broken. The end.